This is Ask Ahmad. We teed it up on Sky Sports social media accounts, giving you at home the chance to ask this man absolutely anything. Ahmad, we had thousands of questions, so I've picked the best ones. You looking forward to this?
No problem, we can start.
Okay, first one, I like this. Just says, who is your best friend in football?
It's difficult to name just one. Yeah, in Manchester, I'm very close with Kobe and Ghana, and the national team, I'm very close with Simon Nadingra and Uma Diakite, so I have a lot of friends.
Nice. Popular guy in football, you say?
Yeah, popular guy in football.
So interesting that a lot of your friends at United are some of the younger players. Is that because you've almost been on a journey together, that you sort of stick together and going through similar phase in your career?
Yeah, maybe because we have the same age, so we like to grow up together. So I have a lot of friends.
Next one says, if you could play alongside any player, past or present, who would it be?
I will say Drogba. He's from my country.
Yeah.
I grew up watching him, big legend of my country, and he was one of the best players in England. Yeah. So I would say Drogba.
Amazing player. Obviously different players and positions and you play, but is there anything in Drogba's game that you looked at when you were growing up and you wanted to emulate or model from his game in your game?
Drogba was very strong.
Yeah.
So I want to be like him.
You want to be
maybe
like
one day.
More go to the gym a bit. Yeah.
So yeah, Drogba is an amazing player.
Yeah, I agree. Next one just says, what did you learn from loan moves to Sunderland and Rangers? Good question, that.
I really enjoy my loans. I learned a lot playing so much games and developed as a player, and I got a lot of strength and show my quality. Yeah. So I was very happy to be there. Two
massive teams as well in terms of fan base that you went to, big crowds. What was the sort of biggest benefit you took from going out on loan as an early
both
player,
teams. Yeah, both teams gave me a lot of loves. I want to thank them for the loves, and yeah, I was happy to be there.
I like it. Next one just says, what is the best advice you've received since joining Manchester United?
I received a lot of things with everyone. In the club and outside the club. Actually, the manager is telling us to train hard every time in the training, to make sure to be ready every games and to make that impact with the team. So yeah, everyone helped me a lot since I arrived here at Old Trafford and Manchester.
You mentioned the manager there. How influential has Erik been in your development in your career, would you say?
Yeah, important person. He is there to help everyone. Even when you don't play, he's there to speak with you, to stay focused on the training, because everything is if you want to deserve one thing on the pitch is you need to be ready on the training. So he helped me a lot.
Yeah, it's a very approachable. You can have lots of chats with him on and off the pitch. Yeah. Okay, next one just says, what is your favourite moment as a Manchester United player?
I have a lot. The debut, the goal against Milan. The winning last minute goal against Liverpool and winning FA Cup. So I have a lot.
If you had to pick one of them?
Yeah, maybe why not the last minute goal against Liverpool. Yeah, that was one of the best moments of my career.
It was an amazing game that for you personally, because obviously you scored the winning goal, and then moments later when you celebrate, you take your shirt off and then you get sent off. So how were you mentally processing all of that? Because the highs and the low, you experienced both, right?
Yeah. No, I was expected that goal. Yeah. So I was so emotional and I was so happy for myself and for the team. Yeah. And yeah, it's coming natural to take off the jersey. Yeah. So I was so happy.
And then the ref comes up and you're thinking, oh, ref, come on.
I think it was one of the best red cards.
You take it. Yeah. Where do you go then? Are you just in the change room on your own, just sitting there?
In the dressing room.
Yeah, you just sat on your own in the dressing room?
Yeah, I was just sitting in the dressing room to expect the game is finished and to celebrate with the team.
Amazing moment, amazing story. Next one says, what is the best stadium you've played at besides Old Trafford?
I think National Team Stadium.
Yeah.
It's very special stadium, so I think I want to say National Team Stadium.
In terms of atmosphere and what it means to you. How proud a moment is that when you make your debut for your country at such a young age?
Amazing feeling. I was proud. I always wanted to play for my country, so making that debut with my country and playing in my country, so it was very nice.
Yeah, amazing moment. We had a lot of questions about Manchester United's new signings, a lot of questions about that. So the next one just says, how are Manchester United's new signings settling in?
I think very good. We had to bring energy and good vibes.
Yeah. When you sign, because you've signed so many exciting players this summer, does that raise the level of training when so many players come in? Have you noticed the level of training go up this season?
Yeah, but you don't have new player. The level is every time high, and when new players coming, they bring new things, you know. So we are very happy to have them here.
Next one just says, who is the unsung hero in the Manchester United squad? So is there a player that's perhaps underrated or underappreciated that you see day in, day out that you think, wow?
Yeah, maybe staff one.
Okay.
Maybe Kitman.
The kit man?
Yeah, the Kitman, because they work very hard.
Yeah.
And make sure everything is ready for the team, for us. They help a lot the player, and so I want to say Kitman.
It's a great answer. Next one just says, how special is the young talent at Manchester United? You spoke earlier about some of your friendships, so talking about how special the young talent are.
Yeah, we have a lot of young players in the team, other coming from the academy and other coming outside the academy. We have very good relationships together. Sometimes we go outside to dinner together, so we push each other to reach your potential, and yeah, we make sure to be ready every games and to have a good impact with this Manchester United.
There's so many exciting young players. It feels bad singling one out, but I know he's someone that's very close to you. I wanted to ask you about Kobbie Mainoo and just how good he is, because his breakthrough season was quite incredible. What level do you think Kobbie can get to? How good a player are we talking about?
Talking about Kobbie is like talking about a big legend.
Really?
No, because Kobbie, at his age, is so good. He's an amazing player, good person. Yeah, I'm very close to him. He can reach more than he have now, and I think he's going to be one of the best players in the history.
Wow, one of the best players in Man United's history?
I think. Yeah.
Wow, amazing. What's he like off the pitch as well? You say you're very close to him.
Yeah, no, like outside of the pitch, he's a nice guy. Sometimes, like I said to you now, we go outside to dinner together with Kobbie and Ghana. Yeah, with the young lad. So we are very close.
Yeah, you mentioned Garnacho as well, another exciting young player. What's he like in training? I imagine he's one of the best trainers at the club.
Garnacho is an amazing player. I like him because he want to push, you know.
Does he?
Yeah. He want to push. He want to reach his potential. I'm very happy for them, and I hope together we can have some things for the clubs.
That's nice. Is there any young players that we might not know about coming through?
Toby.
Yeah.
Toby Coyle and Harry Amas and Ethan Whitley, very young lad, excited, and yeah, we are very happy to have them with the team. Good vibes, good energy.
Good vibes, yeah?
Good vibe, good energy, and yeah.
Next one says, who is the fastest player at Manchester United? So if everyone had a 100-metre race, who wins?
I think for me it's Rashford. I will say also Rasmus. Because Rasmus. Wow. I was a spectator. I saw him in the training. He's so fast. Yeah. Maybe me. I don't know.
I was going to ask, in that race, if everyone's racing, you have Rashford and Ireland at 1 and 2. Where does Ahmad finish in that race?
Maybe Rashford
gold medal.
Rashford, Rasmus.
Yeah.
Ghana, Anthony. Yeah. And me.
So you'd be about 5th?
Yeah.
You happy with that?
Yeah, I'm happy. Yeah.
Okay. Can you organise that? Everyone have a race? We bring the cameras down, maybe. This one just says, how did it feel to sign for Manchester United?
It was one of the best days of my life to sign with the club. Yeah. And I want to do more with the club and why not to win everything with the clubs.
It brings me perfectly on to our last question, actually. You talked about your dream there. The last question just says, what is your footballing dream?
To win more trophies with the clubs. I want to win a lot of trophies, Champions League, Premier League, everything. I want to win with the club. That's my dream.
Do you have one? Is it Champions League? Is it Premier League? If you had to pick one as your ultimate dream, what would?
Champions League.
Champions League. Ahmad winning the Champions League with Man United would be your dream.
Yeah.
I love that. Ahmad, really enjoyed that. Thank you very much for your time. All the best for the rest of the season.
Now, Arsenal remain unbeaten in the Premier League, despite having a tricky run of fixtures, including trips to Aston Villa, Tottenham and Manchester City. They took 7 out of those 9 points. Mikel Arteta's side now host Leicester tomorrow. The Arsenal manager spoke to the media in the last hour. Our reporter Gail Davis was there front and centre asking him all of the important questions. She joins us live right now. Gail, good afternoon to you. Look, I know that they've had the EFL Cup game in the meantime, but of course the most sort of immediate reference and the chapter and the stories about that game and Manchester City and the fallout continues. What did Mikel Arteta have to say about that?
Yeah, really good afternoon. Now, as much as Mikel Arteta has tried to move on from that game, it's very hard, isn't it, when it was that dramatic, that action-packed. And on Tuesday, he did his best before the Cup game to move the narrative on. But again, today, he was asked about the game, and in particular his relationship with Pep Guardiola. After Pep's side had progressed through to the cup, their cup game, Pep talked about the fact that the two managers had exchanged texts between them and said that whatever had happened hadn't damaged their relationship. Well, I spoke to Arteta about how difficult that is when ultimately you want a very good friend of yours to fail.
First of all, because I love him, I respect him, and I admire him, and I admire his team and everything that he does. And this is a sport. You know, one thing is our profession, this is our personal relationship. If my relation has to be damaged because we play against each other and one draw and the other one wins, or the amount of time that we have lost, then I wouldn't talk to him no more. So that's not a relationship, especially a relationship that I consider that both of us have. So a sport, it will never get in my way in a personal relationship, for sure. I don't want to be on YouTube because we've been so silly, you know. I want to be on YouTube because we've done the right thing in May and for the right reasons and lifting what we want to lift and achieve. And in order to do that, we have to be very efficient in what we do. So I didn't predict to play 56 minutes with 10 men, and we have to do that, and we have to accept. And sometimes the opponent is better at doing something in the game. That doesn't mean that they are playing better or competing. They are being better at doing a specific thing inside the game. We are interested to do all the things that can help us to win the game.
And Gail, talking about that midweek game I mentioned in the EFL Cup, Arsenal beating Bolton, but David Raya, their keeper, was unavailable for that game. Any news if he will be available for this weekend in Leicester?
Yeah, they had 16-year-old, didn't they? Jack Porter playing in goal for that game. Raya, well, he wouldn't commit either way. He's been struggling with a muscular thigh problem. You saw him go down a lot, didn't you, in that game against Manchester City last weekend. Wouldn't confirm, said he'll leave it late. They do have PSG on Tuesday night in the Champions League, so clearly they're not going to risk him. But unlike midweek, they do have other options because Neto, who they signed in the transfer window from Bournemouth, was already cup-tied during the week. So Arteta's been talking about him and what he can bring, and that is, of course, Premier League experience. So if Raya doesn't make it, you would expect him to have a great chance of starting against Leicester at home. Other news, he was a bit more open about Jurrien Timber and Ben White, both trained today, both in the squad. And Mikel Moreno, the midfielder signed from Real Sociedad, do you remember, injured in a training session, hurt his shoulder? We'll have a listen to what he says about when he might be available to play for Arsenal.
Trying to keep me in the cage because he's been pushing everybody, all the physios, the doctors, everybody, and he's ready to go. And he really wants it. I think we are comfortable now to start exposing him with contact, and he looked really good in training. He's going to bring first an unbelievable football brain. He's so intelligent, the way he decides, he occupies spaces, he makes decisions. Very rare to see that. Then a really talented player in every phase, defending, attacking. He can deliver things, he can do things that complements really well with the quality we have in midfield. Physicality, for sure. And then he's a big threat. The moment that he is in the opponent's box, you see that he's a big threat.
It's been such a big 10 days or so for Arsenal, hasn't it? The likes of Tottenham away, Manchester City away, the Champions League squeezed in between that, the cup game with the youngsters. They've come through and they've had problems in terms of long-term injuries, longer-term injuries with people like Odegaard, and Arteta's been delighted. But he was asked about how he'd make sure his team were in as good a place as they were mentally going into that City game as they will be against Leicester. And they had a little bit of homework this week. They had to write down all the reasons yesterday why Leicester will be a threat to them, and they've put it around the dressing room. We tried to work out from him what they were. He wasn't giving much away, but we may understand a little bit more when we see them against Leicester tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, I like that. Attention to detail. Thank you very much indeed, Gail.
So we know Rodri is going to be out for a significant period of time with that ligament damage to his knee. But what makes him so special for Man City? What makes him such an important player? Well, let's have a look at his numbers, because since the start of last season in the Premier League, he ranks first for touches. This is not just for Man City, this is for all players in the Premier League. So you can see this is a player at the heartbeat of what Man City do. With his passing, again, tops the stats. And a lot of these passes come in the final third. So he's a player around the edge of the box, moving it around for City as they look to open up defences. But look, he can have an impact himself as well. 4 goals from outside the box. He had 8 goals in total last season and 9 assists. So he makes a real difference for City when he's got the ball at his feet. But look at this as well. Possession 1 in the middle third. He ranks 4th there, 136 times he's done that for Man City. So this is a player with and without the ball having a big impact for Man City. And when he's not there, there's a big impact as well. If we look here at his with and without, or Man City's with and without, since February the 5th, 2023, that was when Man City lost to Tottenham. And since then, you can see they've only lost 1 game when Rodri has been in the team. Man United fans might remember that, the FA Cup final at the end of last season. But look, 78 matches, just 1 defeat. It just shows what impact this player has, because when he's not there, Rodri, 16 matches, 5 defeats for Man City. He missed 4 games through suspension last season. Man City lost all of them. So, Rob, when we're talking about Rodri's injury, these are the sort of numbers that really underline how important his absence could be for Pep Guardiola.
This is an unbelievable story. Believe me, an unbelievable story. My little boy's in the academy at Chelsea. You know, I see the academy stuff now. That is phenomenal. For that kid to get into Arsenal, who's like a Rolls Royce of a football club, a massive football club, at 16 years of age and playing goal for Arsenal, I just can't explain how big that is. How big that is. You know, goalkeepers, you usually become a better goalkeeper at 25, 26, 27, and the older you get. This kid to be in there at 16, honestly, fair play to him. He takes a lot of credit for the hard work he's done, and fair play to Arsenal for giving him that belief. But that is very rare. I don't think that probably happens too often in football. A 16-year-old makes their debut for a big football club in goal, which is, wow. Honestly, I can't express how much effort and hard work and how talented this kid must be to be playing in goal at 16.
Yeah, absolutely. That I'm sure he's very proud himself, as I'm sure Arsenal are of so much youth that they've got at the moment. Another youngster we want to shine a spotlight on, Ethan Nwaneri. I mean, he scored twice. He's had a couple of cameo appearances so far this season as well. But could this be, I guess, the making of him?
He's a good player. The problem is it's so hard. It's hard to go and play for Arsenal on a consistent basis, especially nowadays when you can go and get anybody from around the world. You know, for this kid to be playing and these kids to get given an opportunity, you know, and fair play to Arsenal for giving the opportunity. But at the same time, they're coming into a good football team. They're coming in playing with good players that are full of confidence. You know, your Declan Rices are playing. That helps. Sometimes you find that kids get thrown in when the team's struggling and players are struggling, and then it's hard for them, because then you're looking, you think, I've got to rely on the experienced players, and the experienced players are not playing well at the time, so they've got to look after themselves. It's clever the way Arsenal are doing it. They're putting these kids in just at the right time when the team are flying, players around them are full of confidence. But you still got to get on that pitch in front of 60,000 and perform, and fair play to Arsenal and fair play to him. You hear the whispers, the kid's a special player. He's just got given the chance on a consistent basis, but he needs to be patient. Because he is at one of the best clubs in the world, in my opinion. So he needs to be patient.
We've been patiently waiting, haven't we, for Raheem Sterling to finally get a goal for Arsenal, which he did since his move from Chelsea. What have you made of him so far?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be over the season. I thought it was a good signing. He didn't get on the other night. I thought that at Man City, I thought that was a little bit worrying. I thought, probably Arteta didn't trust him as much as Jesus, but he's a top player. Again, I like them goals. When people are in the 6-yard box and they tap it in, people go, "Oh, I could have scored that." Well, you couldn't have because you're not in there. You have to get in there. And they're the goals. You're going to score more of them than not. And that's where Sterling got a lot of goals for Man City, is getting in the 6-yard box. He does get in there, and I'm a big fan of Raheem Sterling's. I was shocked Chelsea let him go. I really was. He was better than some of the wingers at Chelsea, or he was definitely better than one of them. So for me, I was shocked that Chelsea let him go.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll go on from there and score a few more and enjoy his time at Arsenal. We loved, of course, the City-Arsenal match-up at the weekend, but goodness me, huge blow for them, isn't it, with Rodri with this knee ligament injury now. We know it requires surgery. He's going to be out for an extended period. Just how big a blow is that for City? Yes, they've got this huge squad, but he's so key for them, isn't he?
Oh, 100%. It's a massive loss. For over the season, I mean, we could say if Ireland got injured for a couple of weeks, they could probably get by with that. This man knits everything together. For all the top draw players that they've got, he knits it all together. He's the main man, in my opinion. He's the one player in the whole world that gets into every team in the world. He gets into, there's not one football team that he doesn't get into. I don't know another player in the world that we could say about but him. And he is a massive miss. He might not be missed over the next 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 games, but as the season revolves and over and we get into the new year, he will be missed at times. There's no doubt. And he gets important goals as well. We've seen that in the Champions League final. This man is phenomenal footballer. And that was the major blow for Man City the other day. Major blow. And for him himself, as I say, is a special player.
It does, though. Do you think it changes the way you maybe look at the title race, taking him out and possibly tipping the favour in towards Arsenal now?
I think it brings Arsenal closer to Man City. I think Man City were a little bit ahead of them. I think now, as the season revolves and we get into the new year and without no Rodri, I do think just Man City, because I think they just got a bigger squad and they've got better players all round with squad players, but it's not far off a heads or tails. It's not far off a heads or tails now. I mean, the one thing we all miss about last weekend and then the melee and the time wasting and the sending off and the last minute goal, we've got to remember, Arsenal were 1-0 down and were 2-1 up at half time. Everyone forgets that. Arsenal turned that round 3, 4, 5 years ago. Arsenal are getting beat 3 and 4. They're getting destroyed, absolutely destroyed. This year, different team, completely different team. And I can't remember, off the top of my head, it might have happened a couple of weeks ago, I can't remember. But I can't remember the last time Man City were 1-0 up and 2-1 down at half-time at the Etihad. Can't remember it. I can't remember it. And for me, that's the one thing we miss, the fight back by Arsenal. To turn that around, that just shows you how far Arsenal have come, and they are majorly in this title race.
Just finally on this, plenty said about the way that Arsenal, I guess, went about the game at the weekend. Dark arts has been mentioned. How do you see it?
I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll go down to 10 men. We'll open the game up. We'll get our bellies tickled and we'll get beat 6-2 by Man City. Everything will go away. Pep Guardiola will come on the telly and he'll go, I love Arteta. I love the way he opens the game up and he has a go. No, Arsenal are phenomenal. Bar a last-minute goal, never really looked like scoring. They were void of ideas, Man City, that shocked me more than anything. You got them things have been going on since I was playing. I remember George Graham years ago. We used to play Wimbledon, and Wimbledon liked to roll the ball out. The goalie would roll the ball out as far as he could, and he'd smash it to fashion you, and they'd all melee round it, be on the edge of the box. So George Graham used to say, go and close the goalkeeper down. When they all push on the halfway line, then just run over to the corner flag. And when the ball gets headed back out, you'll be offside and they'll get a free kick in the corner flag. And that's what we were doing. That was 30 odd years ago. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. Probably not as bad as that, Hayley, but that's what it was like for us. That's what we used to do.
The good old days,
Yeah.
Paul, the good old days.
Yeah, and then Jules Graham would say, go down. You know, you'd be under pressure, go down, kill the game, kill the game, get the fans quiet. You know, if a team were putting us under pressure. And in them days, you know, you didn't have to go off for 5 seconds or 10 seconds. So, yeah, it's been going on for years, absolutely years.